mother I've ever had. Didn't seem to bring a lot of water with it. Very good. But they just had the final everything. It was said
Part of the live cam. Live streaming the speeches as well.
I know you.
Well, he knows he's got one.
No. So we've got 4 packing kids and we've got a new wedding out.
Oh.
So what you? So are we streaming it now?
Yeah, this is the live stream. No one's online yet. We can check.
So
We're good to go. It's all
good to go.
Yeah. I'm doing the speech. I don't. Where should I?
Right, we got to go.
Do you think I should just sit here? Dad. I pointed that. Where should I stand? Where should I go? Or can I just sit?
I'm probably going to just be at the front in that gap there. Where are you thinking of being? Yeah, I will most likely be. Probably move between the two. Depending on who's speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I've got a USB webcam if you wanted to use that.
ladies and gentlemen, it's now time
I'm
to
set up
begin.
now.
From the top table, will you please take your seats? And ladies and gentlemen, we will start with the new Mrs. Dickens.
Support and understanding with my family, the Watts, the Williamsons, and the Danes have shown me since 2012. I'd also like to thank everyone at Gift of the Wedding for making our wedding day so spectacularly memorable in every way, particularly Patricia, Holly and Lisa. Nothing has been too much trouble for you, and we cannot thank you enough. have shown, in spite of some pretty horrific obstacles, has been mind-blowing. You are one in a million. I love you. I love you for the kindness in your eyes and the warmth in your voice, for the honesty of your words and the silence of your smile, for the ways in which we are similar and those which we are worlds apart, the openness of your understanding and the acceptance of your heart, for the tenderness of your touch, for the strength of your commitment, for your sense of humour and your seriousness of purpose, for 1,000 small reasons, and one most important of all. Only because you are you. In all of creation, you are the one whom I cherish the most, the one with whom I hope to share my life, its joys, its sorrows, its accomplishments, its challenges, and all the underneath together, and growing every day, in the love that makes us one.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we hear from Carol, Maid of Honour. Grab some applause, please.
So today I'm not only Carol, I'm also Celia and Kylie, some of Alison's best mates from Australia. So now the Aussie accent, obviously not one from here, so bear with me, hopefully you can understand that. One speech I just got today, so I don't have it printed out, so I'm going to have to use my phone. Bear with me. Technical difficulties, here we go. To our dear friends, Alison and Keith, just a short modern telegram to wish you the very happiest of days. We are sorry we're not there in person to celebrate. We would have loved to have shown up with our gay crush or baby. Alison and I, Celia, met at a time when we both were in need of good friends and sometimes. Our Tuesday after work lemonade session. Sounds like a story there. You can tell me that it wasn't lemonade. Sound sessions for a great relationship. When she disappeared to the UK in search of greater adventures that Adelaide could provide, I made her, sorry, I have to make this larger. I made her a CD of Aussie music in the hope it would make her so homesick that she would come home. Instead, she met Pete. While I don't usually approve of wedding speeches that talk of old boyfriends or girlfriends, I will say that just after meeting Pete for the first time and being asked by another of the lemonade buddies what he was like, I said, this time I think she might have just struck gold. To this day, and especially on this day, I stand by that comment. Alison, you have struck gold. Pete, you are a very special guy, and we love you for loving Alison. The proof of that love is the amazing Annabelle. We know you three as a family have a medal for tough times. It is your day to celebrate the happiest of times. Big love to you all, and have a wonderful day. Celia and baby Jane. Round number 2 is from Kylie from Australia. My dearest Alison and Keith, about time you two tied the knot. I have known Alison for forever. We were the two from our group of high school friends that left little Tassie and Stacey with names I know that in search of adventure. Thankfully, you were able to get together along the way and share some of these experiences. Probably not the form to go into detail with regards to our shenanigans together, to which I am sure Alison agrees. Smiling face wink. In short, let's just say we have experienced some amazing places together, met wonderful people, and had an absolute ball along the way. These amazing adventures brought Alison to the UK, to where she finally found her someone. When Alison first met Pete, I was truly, truly happy that she had finally found her forever partner. On the 23rd of August, 2010, Alison sent me an email and referred to Pete as a quality bloke that you would approve of, Kyle. To which I absolutely do. On the 9th of September 2010, Alison refers to Pete as a keeper, followed by an excited email on the 28th of September, as you guys headed off to Barcelona to celebrate your 3 months together. We were so excited that you were able to come and visit us during your trip back to Aussie. Craig, the kids, and I loved having you both spend time with us in wine country. I look forward to the day you are able to venture back this way as we have a lot more to show you all. Alison, it was during this trip when you were pregnant with your butterfly princess that I knew you guys would choose to be together forever. You complement each other just beautifully. From someone that has been married for quite some time, Craig too took his time to possibly question Pete. And here's a simple bit of advice. Love one another and you will be happy. It's as simple and as simple as that. Alison and Pete, we are truly upset that we're unable to make the journey across to help you celebrate this amazing day. But know that you are in our thoughts. But you should know that I entirely blame Craig. He is currently operationally deployed, so clearly it is his fault. Smile with me. We hope today is everything you both have wished for and are looking forward to seeing the beautiful pictures. Finally, a toast to those most amazing bride and her fabulous groom. Today is the biggest commitment two individuals could make to each other. My best friend and this man, who has transformed her life for the better in so many ways, are now married. All love to you both, to the bride and groom. Cheers. Carl's friend, Paige. Alright, so we've pretty much said everything already, so I'll just say a little bit more from a little bit of Caroline's and my perspective. So, Caroline and I have known Alison for about 7 years. Given I moved here 8 years ago, that's pretty much how we played in the line. And we've been through some lovely times, and I won't go into detail other than saying lots of delish coffee and sacred, music festivals which included not only great music, but actually getting a tan, someone getting a fat lid, partaking of posh camping, mold checking, lots of concerts, even a certain someone falling asleep at Wednesday concert. Fun trips including tagines, lots of them, laughing a lot, and so many beautiful memories. In short, Alison is one of the best friends the girls could ask for, and we feel so lucky and honored to not only be in your life, but to be able to attend the most glorious event of her wedding to the lovable and amazing Pete. And to celebrate with your beautiful little Annabelle and her lovely family and friends. We couldn't be more happy to see Alison has found her perfect someone in Pete, and now is a perfect family. So I know you've heard me quote this to you before, Alison, but I love this saying. So I'll close by saying, marriage is a mosaic that you build with your spouse. Millions of tiny moments that create your love story. Cheers to the happy family.
Thank you. And now, from the father of the bride, Stephen.
I'm not sure I really need this. I'm usually loud enough and boisterous enough people can hear me. I'm going to read the speech, folks. I usually don't like that, but it's the only way I'm going to get through it. So I'll start off and just say, Leslie and I say welcome to this wonderful event. I could have opened with g'day, but I figure you all realise we're Australians and we just hope, like others, that you can understand us. Diane and Jeff, Ron and Echo, along with Leslie and I, thank you for making this such a wonderful occasion. I also express our combined gratitude to Lisa, together with Patricia and Holly, in gift of a wedding, for facilitating this memorable event. Alison, well, this is my opportunity. There's only a couple of little glimpses that I will pass on. There's many others that want to talk to me in private, I'm sure I can. Well, many years ago, Leslie and I had a baby who forced herself on us and the unsuspecting world 12 weeks early. If you go back 38 odd years, sorry about that, that makes the odds pretty hard. And Alison had to fight to survive. And fight she did. Like all firstborns, Alison had differences with her parents. The parents think we don't see things the right way. But so it be. She's also had a few problems with her brothers and sister, or brother and sister. But that's sort of natural. Unfortunately, they can't be here today. David, as his wife Liz, as they are expecting their first child shortly. And we didn't want another Englishman in the family. Sorry. And Jennifer, as she's constrained by her position as new position as a doctor. I sought their input on what dirt we should spread and what we shouldn't. And they both come up with the same sort of suggestion. Alison's early driving experiences. They come up with different things, but the one that was most notable was one that they both came up with. Excuse me. I'll let the microphone do that. This is unusual, folks. Usually Alison has to have the last word. You'll see why. Anyway, getting back to Alison's driving. There was one particular incident where somebody failed to actually stop in time so that she collided with a stationary vehicle, which just happened to be at a red light and just happened to be driven by an off-duty policeman. And it sort of came out later on that I believe it was the policeman who thought the reason she didn't stop was because she was too busy talking. Anyway, we'll leave that one alone. There was, Leslie and I are proud of Alison in many ways. The way she struggled, endured and overcome the odds and became a healthy child. The way she defended her cousins who were visiting her school. Now this is a little interesting. Again, you'll see Alison has to have the last word. Alison's Uncle Philip married a lady from Papua New Guinea. And they had children, and naturally, they had a different colour skin to us. They were visiting us when we lived in Hobart, and Alison's school was one house away from our place. So it was a long trip. We were usually the last people there. That's beside the point. Alison's school was actually hosting a performance from a visiting Pacific Island dance troupe. And we asked if the children from my brother's family could go and attend. And it was agreed that they'd all attend. Well, they were all assembled watching this dance troupe, and one of Alison's friends turned to her and said, "Your cousins are black." To which Alison turned round and said, "They are not, they're brown." We're also, she had that last word. Well, she has succeeded academically and professionally in becoming a chartered accountant. The way she settled into life as a foreigner in London. The way she found love with Pete, and the way she gave us our first grandchild, wherever she is. Anyway, obviously, we are saddened at the tyranny of distance that now usually separates us. Leslie and I would like to take this opportunity to recognise and thank all of you here, and we especially mention those of you who welcomed Alison into your families, especially Pete's extended families, Alison's friends from near and far, Alison's supporting employer, domestic in general, and her medical team. We appreciate the love and support you continually provide Alison in our absence. Peter, Alison has found in you someone to share her life and love with. And so we finally, formally welcome you into the family, as widespread as it is. Now, as the elder spokesman, not necessarily wiser, I offer you, Alison and Peter, some words of advice. Talk with each other continually. As parents, always be as one. Share the chores of everyday living and enjoy the highs and endure the lows that life's journey brings along the way. Finally, I ask that everyone be upstanding and raise a toast to the bride and groom.
So say the bride and groom.
The bride and groom. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we call upon Peter to reply. my wife and I would like to thank you. It's been a tough few years, but we're so glad we can share today with you all. Our closest friends and family. Firstly, I would like to raise a toast to absent friends.
Toast is absent friends.
Absent friends.
When life gives you lemons, you try and make lemonade. And we'd like to thank Gift of a Wedding for giving us a chance to do that. It was amazing to be able to marry Alison in such a short space of time. We got engaged in December, and less than 4 months later, we're here today. Today would not have been possible without a lot of people. Most importantly, our parents, Stephen and Leslie, Mum and Jeff, and Dad and Akko. Thank you so much to everyone who's made this possible, which includes Patricia, Holly and Carol for Gift of the Wedding, Lisa, our wedding planner, Old Thorns, Evie and Tiffany and all the staff here, Guy, our Toastmaster, Sarah, our photographer, and Chris and his lovely assistant from Donald Harsel Videographers. Many other people, including the magician, the VW camper hire, and everyone else who's made today possible. So today I'd like to talk about the things I love, and more importantly, the people that I love. Alison for agreeing to marry me and giving me the most beautiful daughter in Amber. She's alright, she's not too good. Yeah, sure, I'm going to get there. Sorry, I only waited about 2 minutes before we started, so...
No surprise!
Alison, you look wonderful. I'm so proud to be your husband. I would like to thank Annabelle for being wonderful and sweet and amazing. I'd like to thank our beautiful and wonderful bridesmaids, not only for being Alison's best friends, but also doing everything to help and support her today. I'd like to thank Archie for being one of the most awesome little page boys I've ever asked for. And I also need to thank the best man. However, no, so before I say however, without who today, a lot of things would not have happened. I might not have got here. I definitely wouldn't have had breakfast. And so lots of other things, but let's not go there. I'm very, very, very worried about this. Because anyone who knows me knows there is some past and there's some stories. But I've got a couple showing my friends, let alone my family. I like to think Alison knows the best and the worst about me. If I say earmuffs, you're going to have to learn to basically just do this and cover your ears. Most importantly, I want to just go back to my parents. I want to thank Stephen and Leslie for providing the wonderful food we've had today. I'd like to say... And I would like to say, all of our parents, Stephen and Leslie, Mum and Jeff, Dad and Akko, it's a testament to the job they've done, the people who are here, and most importantly, the people who are here to celebrate with us. We love you all, and we would like to thank you for being with us, and we will enjoy as soon as my speech is over, celebrating the rest of the evening. We love you all, and I'd like to thank all the people I've mentioned in the speech today. Thank you. I would like to toast the bridesmaids. Carol and Carol. To the bridesmaids!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, the best men, Chris and Pete.
My lords, ladies, gentlemen, fellow Australians. Tradition dictates that Chris and I respond on behalf of the bridesmaids, thus upholding the long-held misogynistic belief that women should be seen but not heard. We've already seen that actually women are very capable of speaking. However, we are going to uphold tradition and speak on behalf of the bridesmaids. We are just fulfilling our roles on a very special day, so please don't shoot the messengers. Pete. The bridesmaids have done a spectacular job supporting Alison, making sure that she attended the ceremony and didn't escape beforehand. Ladies, you do look beautiful. If you're single or married, for that matter, we'll happily protect you from the devilishly handsome, somewhat ginger, Sharpie. Whilst on the subject of tradition, it's also etiquette dictates that the groom's best men, stag mates and close friends do not outdo the groom in dress or appearance, and for that we would like to thank Stephen for staying true to that tradition.
So when planning this speech, we decided we needed to ask all our close friends, and pretty much most people that Pete knew, to send us entertaining stories so we had some material to work with. We got quite an overwhelming response. I hope you all got plenty of time. But we're going to call this the Pete Bible, by the way. But then we thought we need to whittle it down a little bit. Luckily, we were reliably informed by someone that all stories should be Granny friendly, Annabelle friendly, and Stephen and Leslie friendly. So we don't have much material left.
Rest assured, though, unlike most traditional best men speeches, which are full of sexual innuendo, I promise Pete and Alison that if there's anything slightly risque, I'll whip it out immediately.
Pause for laughter.
Not scripted at all.
However, please know that there are a couple of stories that we couldn't miss. So I hope anyone amongst the audience that's hard-nosed is also a little hard of hearing. Which moves us on to the theme of our little speech, the loves of Pete's life.
A very similar topic to the one that Pete chose, funny enough. So we thought we'd start with something that doesn't show him in too bad a light, and then we can build on that, if that's all right. So the first love that we have noticed in Pete's life is that of mature and sensible drinking. Most of you must know that Pete has the most impressive ability to go from naught to shit-faced in the blink of an eye. We think this is best illustrated by the first Lions test in 2013.
Which was won by... Lions! So that's right, a home nation scratch team beat Australia 23-21. Probably gave them the second test and then drubbed them 41-16 in the deciding test. But I digress.
So, the first Lions test. Pete, Chris and Sparky and their families were in the Isle of Wight for a long weekend, and the girls very kindly decided the boys could go to watch the game. So by half time, Peter put away 4 pints and 1 Jaeger bomb. By full time, this had risen to 7 pints and 3 Jaeger bombs in just 2 hours. Afterwards, he went to church to see if religion could help him. And as a penance, was made to spend some quality time with the kids at Seaview Wildlife Park. So that's 7 pints, 3 Jaeger bombs, and childcare. This is multitasking personified, and all at 8:30 a.m.
A key love of Pete's life we call him generosity and righteousness. Pete's generous to a fault. It's his best quality as a brother, and he certainly turned me from the dark side.
He certainly did. When Eunice crashed her car recently, even she called Pete first. And who can forget the shell suits and the orange curtain hairstyle? I think we all owe Pete a debt of thanks for that incident.
He also tries to improve his fellow man. Whenever Pete spots terrible driving, he proactively encourages better behaviour, both vocally and using hand signals. When these fail, he's known to go above and beyond, using more direct measures. Best illustrated by a story when a few of us were watching a Six Nations game of rugby in our flat in Guildford. Pete wanders in, says, "Hi, how's it going, everyone?" Picks up a 9-iron and wanders out to try to teach a BMW driver the downside of annoying people. Luckily, a few of us managed to get hold of him and talk him down.
I have to say, when it comes to golf, Pete's club selection has always been questionable. Surely a 5-iron would have been better. Anyway, moving on. Another tale of righteous indignation begins with a shopping trip to Guildford, where Pete parked his gorgeous little red Ford Fiesta, which was named Kylie, and had a nice round behind. The number plate was K992BXH. So he parks, shops, and is waiting to cross the road on the way back to the car park when he notices that somebody is driving his car away.
It's not just anyone, it's an 80-year-old lady. Pete charges after Kylie in an attempt to save her from the clutches of this carjacking rat. He runs down the road, surrounded by traffic, round the one-way system in Guildford. At this point he notices the number plate is K993BXH. It's basically Danny Minogue. Still a nice behind, but not the real thing. So Pete heads back to the boys, who are understandably wetting themselves.
Which leads us on to wheels. Pete loves wheels. There's no two ways about it. He also exhibits a fantastic social responsibility by trying to buy up and protect endangered species. We have the Mercedes, which was the model from the film Coming to America. The one that was driven around New York by King Jaffa Joffa, and Pete was particularly pleased when he managed to get over a mile to the gallon.
Then there was the Portuguese Jeep called, that's not Miami, it's actually called an but it's actually more of a garden ornament than a vehicle, really. I'm also reliably informed that Pete tried to buy a Hummer while in Mongolia, and then convinced Crouch how easy it would be to get sent back for him upon his return. But more on travelling later.
So you've got the furry Cookie Monster car, which Archie and Annabelle thought was fantastic. Not sure anyone else did. Or the car previously owned by Chancellor George Osborne's uncle. It's an Audi A8, dark green, low mileage, one careful owner, and the most god-awful orange deck chair seats that you've ever seen. Subsequently, it was auctioned off, presumably to someone in need of a deck chair.
Then there was the Escargot, literally the fudgiest car you've ever seen, or had the misfortune to set your eyes on. Then there was the Larder Never, So cool because you should never buy it. I think this achieved its main purpose, to annoy the NIMBY residents of Merrow by parking outside the house where we lived with Churchy and Sharpie for a year while it rusted away to literally nothing. There's a few pictures that I'll pop on the bar should anyone want to reminisce later. There's the Cookie Monster and the kids. Pete's also coined the phrase, "let's get a van." Referring to the plan to throw anyone that Pete didn't particularly like into the back and mess them up a bit. I don't believe Pete's ever gone through with it, but he does have access to a large amount of van.
You have been warned. More specifically, he loves his VW Beetles and campers. Most of us just like looking at them, you know, broken down on the side of the motorway and try to get over 50 miles an hour out of them. Whereas Pete is much more dedicated to the cause. Most of you may know he's got 2 camper vans and 2.5 Beetles. Literally, he owns I just said most of you. I didn't say all. Can't pick holes in this now. Yes, literally owns the back half of a Beetle that's been chopped off. It's not considered roadworthy, but if you can find the front half, let us know.
Knowing Pete's love of vehicles, we decided to organise 2 vehicular events while in Berlin on the stag weekend. First, we hired VW Beetles on day 1 and spent most of the time trying to find and photograph a sign of the Berlin suburb wedding for dearest Alison. When I eventually got the map the right way up and got us vaguely there, it was actually a miserable concrete jungle, and that wedding was a huge disappointment, unlike today. Secondly, we hired a beer bike for all 12 blokes to sit on and cycle around Berlin. Well, if I'm going to be totally honest, for Pete Williamson to cycle around Berlin while the rest of us... While talking about the stag weekend, we must confirm that being good brothers, we didn't do anything to Pete, but he was stretched to near breaking point psychologically until the threat of wearing a mankini at one of his favourite restaurants was removed. The stag weekend did end with the junior member of the group, Joe, appearing to be broken beyond repair. However, we're delighted to see him back with a drink in hand.
So let's move on to shopping, eBay. Never one to do things by halves. Pete can shop for England, and often does. There will always be use for things eventually, even if the use is not yet apparent. But one such item from eBay was a cash register, which sat in the corner of the dining room for about 2 years, looking like a somewhat bizarre ornament. Until it was finally put to very commendable use last autumn for the Australia v England charity party last autumn, which was won by...
Come on, we're running out of time.
Australia!
I might come in later.
Pete and Alison's efforts raised over £2,000 for the newly founded charity. So well done to them, and a big shout out to Chris, Eunice, Archie and Freddie for hosting the event. Especially given that it was in their newly built barn, which was nearly burnt down that night in an effort to raise a few extra pounds.
I feel, given we've mentioned the odd questionable purchase of Pete's, I should just tell you one brief story. We were at Nana's house in Cheltenham when Pete just got a message to say, oh yeah, me and Brian have just made £1,000 on a printer. So his entrepreneurial spirit is still alive and well.
Enough of that, come on.
Okay.
Get on to
The odd positive story. So, of course, then there's Pete's love of travel. After Mongolia, Pete and Croucher found their way to dearest New Zealand, a lovely country who, by the way, invented pavlova and hold the Rugby World Cup after a resounding win against Australia. So in dearest New Zealand in 2015,
can I just correct you there. It was 2005 before you go on to the next slide. Because 2015 is going to put Pete on the wall. That's not here, by the way.
Yes, it was 11 years ago rather than 1 year ago. Sorry. Pete got very excited after meeting a beautiful lady. The creature voucher had to break the news to Pete that although she was beautiful, she was not a lady. There's also a unique approach to backpacking, sending back a container ship each week of purchases from around the world, from rugs to trinkets to Lions jerseys to weird and wonderful artifacts.
Pete's love of travel always hinted he'd hook up with someone down under. And so, perhaps I should rephrase that. And so it's proved to be the case as the North-South Union Trade neatly leads into a story about three friends of mine who went travelling around the world in search of love and adventure. During the course of their travels, they met and subsequently married women from different parts of the world. The first man married a Danish woman. Let's call her Caroline. He told her that she was to do the dishes and the house cleaning. It took a couple of days, but on the third day he came home to see a clean house and the dishes were washed and put away. The second man married an American lady called Carol. He gave his wife orders to do all the cleaning, the dishes and the cooking. The first day he didn't see any results, but the next day it was a little bit better. And by the third day the house was clean, the dishes were done, and there was a huge dinner on the table. The third friend married a girl called Alison, who was from Australia. He ordered her to keep the house clean, the dishes washed, the lawn mowed, the laundry washed, hot meals on the table for every meal. The first day he didn't see anything, the second day he didn't see anything either, but by the third day, some of the swelling had gone down and he could see a little out of his eye. Sandwich and loads of dishwasher, but he still has some difficulty when he urinates.
So the next love of Pete's life, entertainment. Specifically, what does Pete do to entertain himself? Well, most of our formative years and big experience were had at Nutscale House, the Crabtree family home at the time, which we enjoyed and destroyed during the 90s and early noughties. There were many amazing nights, such as the odd boozy Thursday, followed by the odd boozy Friday, followed by the odd boozy Saturday. Then we might go to the Lynx Hotel on a Sunday night for line cleaning. As you can imagine, this amount of drinking was followed by the odd hungover, crappy moment too. We enjoyed Nutscale so much when we were growing up that we decided recently to stalk and befriend the current residents, Tom, Fiona and Izzy. It's great that they could join us, and I think put up 35 people in the top room tonight for our time.
Get the mattresses out.
Contact them over there. Then we have Rob Dawson's wedding, which, or Rob and Joe Dawson's wedding, which marks a new chapter in their relationship, most emphatically. On the same day, Pete gave a further insight into his sexual fluidity. Rob's best mate Anthony is a great guy apparently, but Pete decided that Anthony's father, who was a very, very closeted farmer, needed to know that Pete, and I quote, would definitely do Anthony if he was gay. Sorry, I can't look at it. So, Pete's attempts at batting for the other side, let's move to a more conventional batting.
So we've got sport. Being English, we must be humble and admit Braithwaite's 4 sixes last week to steal the World Cup from England as the president.
Well, Australia went in the final, Steve.
I must tell you a little story about the most extraordinary game of cricket I've ever been involved in. The craziness began with Pete striking a beautiful shot and setting off for a run. Pete was still surveying this beautiful shot in the outfield without noticing that his batting partner, a young child and sporting prodigy at the time, was coming in the opposite direction. Pete literally ran this kid over. His dad then came onto the field to hold his life support and nurse him back to some kind of health in front of an understandably guffawing Sparky, Ali, Sharky and me. Later we had to field and everyone was truly impressed when Pete held two of the best slip catches I've ever seen.
So we can't talk about Pete's love without talking about his love of fine food. Everyone knows Pete's synonymous with great food. Not only does he enjoy its consumption, but the production is a matter of a personal crusade. His beef Wellington is legendary.
Yes!
And now that you're in the family, as is his ability to turn a 1 o'clock lunch into a 5 o'clock dinner. And he is every conceivable pot pan, piece of cutlery, bowl, and just when making a piece of toast.
We haven't mentioned Pete's love of punctuality. Pete has an amazing ability to keep a large group waiting while he's busy in the shower. I reckon he owes most people in the room about a week of their lives back. There's also the fact that Pete almost missed Rob and Joe's wedding due to a last-minute shopping trip. Even more awkward given Pete was supposed to be an usher. Then unfortunately Pete did actually miss Croucher and Sarah's wedding due to... We have heard a lot of information about this, and it is unfortunate, but we think it's due to a few factors. Probably a late shower, to start with. Taking directions from Tim, known for his routes akin to 5 sides of a hexagon, and having to inform a traffic warden that if he put a ticket on Pete's car, it would be somehow inserted into him.
That's got to be all the loves of Pete's life.
I think we've covered everything. Well, there's music festivals and road trips, but we haven't got many stories, and everyone's getting thirsty.
So we're done. No more love.
Yeah. Well, except our dearest butterfly girl, and our unfortunately Australian sister Alison. Absolutely mentioned has been a real tough cookie over recent years. What a wonderful little family. Mr. Mischievous, Mrs. Rebellious, and Little Miss Cute Dictator. The perfect trio.
So we'd like to break your tradition and ask you to be upstanding as normal, but this time to join us in special place. So Pete, Alison, and Annabelle Tate. Pete! Annabelle Tate!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the formal part of the speeches. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry for your time.
Can you believe that? You actually think for a minute. Your face when you turned round and he started that story was gone. It was like Christmas had come around. He's actually doing that.